Talk Shows family, is Nomsa here at Ngosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda Murray. How are you, Amanda?
I'm good. It's almost the end of the school year, so I'm excited because it's the last Wednesday of our school year here. I don't know, are you guys, is your kids out for school already?
I
For some?
think we finished. We still have 3 more weeks.
Oh, okay, it's different schedule.
Yeah, so you guys are finishing today.
No, the kids are done tomorrow and we're done on Friday, and then yeah,
So this week you guys are done.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and when do you go back?
Mm, I go back in the end of August, and then the kids are back September.
Oh, okay. So you guys have more holiday because even here the kids go back 5th of September. So that means there they get more holidays, more weeks.
You must have more holidays though throughout the year or something then.
Oh yeah, the holidays are so annoying if you have for childcare.
That's fair. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't have a lot throughout the year, so
yeah,
this is
for childcare so annoying. But when they turn 14, you only allowed to leave them when they turn 14
oh really?
on their own, yeah.
It's so different here.
So how old are you allowed to leave the children?
Well, there's no like exact age limit, but generally around 11, because 11, well, 10 and 11, you can take your staying at home alone course. And at
Yeah.
11, you can babysit within your own family. Like, and there's no like exact guidelines either. 11, you can start babysitting. So, yeah.
Yeah, here's 14, but other than that, you have to find childcare. Yeah,
Wow.
I had two different children. I had different ages. So this
Mm-hmm.
one goes to a different school. Every state, they don't break up same time and they're different.
Oh,
Yeah.
frustrating for sure.
Yeah, but means more childcare.
Yeah. Like my daughter would walk home from school when she was in like grade 3, I think, and be home for like 20 minutes by herself, and then I'd be home
Yeah.
20 minutes later. But she would walk home from school and stuff in grade 3. I didn't really think anything of it.
Yeah, I'm lucky with my daughter. She comes with me in the office.
Hmm.
So in that way, I'm lucky, but some people they are not so lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But
here you can baby, like Ella gets to learn how to drive at 14 too.
oh
If
really?
yeah. And then she'll get her
Amazing.
like actual driver's license at 16, but she gets her learners at 14.
Amazing. That's really amazing,
Yeah.
Amanda.
They do that here because of the farmers though, because of the
Okay.
so it's for the mostly for the farm kids can drive on the farms.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
Sounds as exciting. I've got to visit Canada. I've got my best friend. She lives in Canada.
Oh, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful
So I've got
here.
to visit one day.
Hmm.
Okay, let's get to this baby going.
Okay.
Sometimes I think it's nice to have a chat.
Hmm.
Yeah. What legacy will you leave behind when you leave this earth? When you're gone, what will people remember about you? Will it be the stories that they tell, the lesson you taught them, or the kindness you showed them? Legacy is not saved for the famous or well. It's something we all create consciously or not. Let's explore as we go through this topic today, the process of shaping your legacy in. We're going to break it in few steps, so with meaningful steps. What do you think, Amanda, about this topic?
Well, I think it's a really interesting topic because sometimes we think about like where like what are we doing? Why are we here? Right? And then you think about what legacy you leave behind, and it's like it really depends on how you show up, right? In this world. And some people we're still talking about thousands of years later, like we named our cat Cleo for short for Cleopatra because of the Egyptian like pharaoh. And because she was like a strong female presence throughout history. And I think that it's really interesting when we think about like what we're leaving behind this earth, and so much of it is like connection to family. I was just listening to a podcast yesterday about AI and the direction AI is going, from like one of the people who's essentially been researching and doing AI from for a long, long time. And he never thought when he first started it that it would grow as fast as it has. And he was talking, the podcaster was asking him, like, what do you wish is something that you would have changed in your life? Because the man who was talking about the AI is in his like 70s, and he's like, I wish I spent more time at home with my kids. I wish I was there when they were little, and I wish I spent more time with my wife. And he had said he had two wives. One had passed away from cancer, and then another passed away from a different cancer. He's in his 70s. And it's like, I wish I spent more time at home and not so much time at work. And so I think that's something that when we think about, like, maybe our brains think our legacy needs to be like, what do I achieve that the world can see? But sometimes it's like the really important things are what's at home, right? And as we get to end of life, we're like, oh, think about all of the dance recitals I missed, or the like home meals at home that I miss. Like, those are the things that you wonder about and you worry about. And then, but then our brains are almost like, well, we need to be doing something bigger than just our families. And so it's that like inner turmoil that you have with like, I want to leave a legacy, but I also want to be there for my family and show up. And so I think it's an interesting topic, because when you look at your legacy, it's like, do you want your legacy to be something that the world remembers 2000 years later, or even more? I can't remember when Cleopatra was around. I was researching her when I decided to name my cat Cleo. And then, or do you just want to be remembered as a really great parent? And I think both are equally valuable. So I don't know, Namza, what do you think? Because you picked the topic.
I have to research Cleopatra. My
Mhm.
sister is called Cleopatra. It's a
Oh,
nice name, is it? I used to like her. Um, Growing up, I used to hear about Cleopatra a lot, but I never really got a chance to research her properly.
yeah, I just did like a quick, like we were looking at like different names of like goddesses and different things to name our cat. Like Greek gods and different goddesses and different things, because we knew we were getting a female cat. And yeah, like it's interesting the things that you find out when you do start to research them, and people who are talked about thousands of years later is really really quite interesting. But then also, like, when you're living your life here, like, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered by your peers? How do you want to be remembered by um your family and acquaintances?
Yeah, I like it when you say how you show up for yourself, because people seems to think you get remembered by title or wealth, but that's not the case. When you die, no one goes to the grave or really says this is how much this person had, or this is, people just, they remember how you made them feel. And that's how I think they remember. And I think it's really, really important for anyone out there to just create your own legacy, a legacy that you know that people will remember you. It doesn't have to have a big thing, because when you touch people's lives, people will always remember that. There are some people that they've come to my life and they give me advice, or I watch their videos and they touch my heart. And sometimes if I'm going through something and then you go and watch a video, it just touches your heart and you're like, this person, where have they been? Why haven't I found them before? And I think that is really, really amazing. I think first you have to accept the truth. It's the simple truth that we want to live forever in this world, and just empower people wherever you can. And when you embrace your finite time, you become more intentional with how you use it. And I think that is really, really important. And just to help people rewrite their own stories. Because everything, there's everything that people can do. Like you've dated a narcissist. Have you checked how the Facebook group actually has big groups for narcissists? I always thought like men, they're the ones that are narcissist until I started following the groups, and then I hear people's stories, men sharing their stories, how they've dated women who destroyed their lives. And I'm like, wow. Yeah.
Well, everybody has narcissistic traits, right? And so, but there's like a range. And so even the most empathic people have narcissistic traits, and they're on this extreme end, and then like narcissistic personality disorders way on the other extreme end. And so it's really interesting, right? And it's not one one sex of people. It's can be anybody. It can be females, males, anyone really can have those extreme traits. And it is definitely it's really interesting when you hear people's stories, because it seems like it should be in a movie. It
Yeah.
should be based in what's going on. You think like, oh, that stuff only happens in movies, but it actually doesn't. It actually happens in real life all the
In real
time.
life, yeah.
Yeah,
But people don't really tell their stories.
yeah.
You should have a blog where you're blogging and empowering uh empowering people like what you're going through and stuff. So, but you already have a blog. You're already blogging anyway, which is good.
I haven't been blogging since January, but yes, I need to start blogging again. And I have 3 book ideas in my head, and so I want to start blogging again, but I can't decide which topic I really want to focus on. And once I decide which topic, then I'll start blogging on the topics and then using my blogs to help me write my books. So yeah.
So, Amanda, if anyone is watching, they'll be like, how do I define legacy for myself? What advice can we give them? I'll share mine, and what about you?
Well, I want to know what yours is, because I think of legacy as like how you're going to be remembered, right? And how other people view you. It's not like what you think of yourself. It's really how
Yeah, I think
other
it's the
people
love you
view.
give to people, unconditional love that you give. Uh, and what else? Like the people that we lift. And I think it's just writing down, understanding that legacy, because in that way it's not about the money. It could be just anything, like changing people's lives and going. There are some people who are not privileged. There are some people who like what Pastor Henry does. Because here in United Kingdom, like we mourn and we complain, they raise the awareness of abuse, like narcissist and everything, like every personal development, the marriages, they talk about what is a good marriage, what is not a good marriage, although we complain that they shouldn't be teaching children, younger children, about sex and stuff like that. But then in Africa, they don't talk about these things. I'm not sure now, but when I was growing up myself, they don't talk about it. Even if they abuse, you'll find that their children, their younger ones who maybe they are not privileged, they lose their parents, their orphanage, and the men will approach them for sex to say, if I sleep with you, you give me a child, I will then pay for your fees, or if I do this, and people, they do it, and then that man walks away, they are left with another problem with the child, and so many different things. So he goes in the community and collect those people and creating groups and putting them in one place and teaching them um, how to prepare themselves to their next level from university, looking to getting married and stuff. So he does those things. I think those kind of things that touching people's lives, and wherever people they need the help, like a narcissist, you are married to a narcissist, Amanda. If you write a book and someone read your book,
Yeah,
you've written so many books. And
I
if
know.
someone like reads your books, that's touching lives.
Mhm.
And even here at Inkosi Talk Shows, people will be like, oh, I remember Amanda Murray at Inkosi Talk Shows, what she said, how she made me feel. She helped me to change my life. I get loads of people like giving me, then I'm like, why don't you all come forward and tell the coaches what you've done? And they're like, I've watched the talk show. I was this. There was a girl that she told me a story. She had to leave South Africa and then she went to a different country just by
Mm.
watching the talk show.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, it's just having that confidence. She used to watch the talk show a lot. But then she changed her life. I don't see her anymore. I'm sure she'll come back and tell me um, what she's done and stuff. So, yeah.
It's interesting how that works. Sometimes I feel like things that I do, like nobody's actually listening.
Oh no, people,
And
I
then-
always say to people, why don't you just write a review? Or maybe I think I need to create a poll and I need to ask people to actually go to the page and write, because people do message me private, and just ask them to write something.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do change people's lives, even though they are not coming forward. People's lives are being changed.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had last year started like making making a like short TikTok or YouTube like video that was like a YouTube short every like week was my goal, like based on the topic that I was writing my book on, Your Abundant Life for. And then so I like would write the article and then I do a little video about like my thoughts around it, and I kind of fell off the wagon and quit doing it. And I had a friend.
Why?
Oh, well, because I I don't love making the videos as much, and that's the part that makes me a little nervous, and that's probably something that I need to do more of then, because it does make me get me out of my comfort zone. And I just need to be more consistent with it and just not care if I like did it perfect or whatever. But that was the one thing that I had a friend reach out and say, like, why did you quit making the videos? I really enjoyed what you had to say. And then you stopped doing it. And it was somebody that I didn't even know was ever even watching them. And when we think about our legacy, sometimes we don't know who it is that's watching us, right? Or that's looking up to us in some capacity. And we might not ever know until they
They
actually
come forward.
tell you, or they're like, hey, why'd you quit doing that? I was like, well, I didn't think anybody was listening, and I just kind
It's like me, I'm being
of acted.
deprived of blogs. Yeah, I used to get blogs, and then I was look at the headline. I'll be like, I come back and read it, and then I'll read it. But
Yeah.
now they're no longer there. I'm like, where's Amanda? What's going on?
Well, it's because when I decided to write that book, Your Abundant Life, it was like this, I had this like energetic whoosh of like, you need to write a book on this topic here. And I just like literally wrote down like 52 topics in like half an hour. And that all related to the main book topic, which was like seeing abundance in your life. And so I was like, okay, if I'm going to write this book and all the topics are laid out for me, then I have to commit to writing that every single month or every single week, so that by the end of the year, I have 52 blog entries that I can turn into a book on Amazon. And so that was like, I just had this like idea that had to get out, whether it was just for me or there's a few people that have bought the book or it's just to talk about on here. But essentially it was just I just had this idea and then I had it all laid out for me and I haven't had a like energetic like you need to do this push in since last year in January was when it happened, like January 2024. And so when I'm stuck, I feel stuck between what it is that I want to do because I have like three essential books in my head and I just don't know which one I want to do. And I also want to start my own podcast, which would be called Rethinking What It Means to Be Educated, where I just interview people from all walks of life on like what was their experience at school, and then where do you think we're going in the future when it comes to schooling, and then how do you think that schooling would essentially need to change to like have helped you better. And when because I'm a teacher and because I love teaching and I think that I don't know if I need to start the podcast and then write about my experiences each week as I interview people or what. I'm just a little bit stuck on where to go with that and how to get started. Or do I write on what you were talking about, which is empowering your life after narcissistic abuse, and like that's the title of that book. Or do I write on the importance of creativity in the classroom? And so because I'm stuck on those three different things, I haven't done
What was
anything.
the first one?
One of them's about rethinking what it means to be educated and interviewing people on a podcast that have from all walks of life that have either become really successful and despite education, or they're really successful because they have a whole bunch of higher education, or they really hated school and they become really successful and found ways to like work through the learning issues that they had as a child. And then how do we like make shift school so that it's not the same structure as it was 300 years ago, and how do we actually educate for the future that we don't know what it's going to be like, especially with AI coming out. So yeah, I have three really big topics and I'm just stuck on which one do I focus on first.
Which one? You want to do all of them, but you're stuck. Which one? You just get on with it, Amanda. Doesn't matter which one you do first, you just get on with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this like starting next week, I'm gonna get up early and um work on my writing, I think. And then I can't decide if I want to get up early every day because I have 2 months off and like go to the gym, or if I get up early and write and then go to the gym later in the day. But yeah, I need to get started on this and decide if I'm gonna do the podcast and interview somebody once a week and then do that consistently throughout the year and then write on those topics on rethinking what it means to be educated.
So
Because I
what
think
can I do for me? Can I do for you to make sure it happens?
I don't know.
Accountability partner?
I need to get on that for myself and really do that. Hi, BB. Here's Cleo.
Hey, Cleo.
Patra. Her
I hope
legacy
she
on in my
bossy.
cat.
She bossy pants. My sister, she's very bossy.
She is super sweet, but she's a little crazy. Maybe
Yeah,
she's
my younger
changing.
sister, she's called Cleopatra. She's very bossy and she's lovely.
Yeah, well, the cat rules the house, that's for sure. So
Yeah, I think whatever you do, Amanda, you go first. Whatever you feel like you want to do first, I think it'd be good. Both of them, they're good subject, and the people will remember that because I think writing about people's stories and just listening to people's real life stories, I think it helps.
yeah,
Um, and also it will help you to reflect on your own values as well.
yeah,
And that is um, legacy. It will help you to, I think everything that you want to do, the 3 points that you want to do is what principles do you live by? It will help you to do that. Integrity, creativity, empathy, discipline, and identity as well, identifying your values that matter most to you. So all these things, they are actually uh, the legacy, part of the legacy. When you want to decide what legacy do you want to leave behind, is just choosing those things, what matters, what values that matters to you, and just go. But you more educational, you want like education, you always talk about people are different, children are different, so there shouldn't be one system of education. And the school that you want to start, I think starting a podcast just to see how it goes. I think it would be really good because you're already here at Ngozi Talk Shows. So it would really, 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 I'll be the first to do the interview.
Well, I do have a lot of people that I want to interview, so I think
That's
that
why I'm saying I'm volunteering. If you're making excuse and saying I still need to find the people while you're making phone calls, I'll be the first, and I'm sure everyone else at Ngozi Talk Show will be the second while you're making excuses.
yeah, that's not my excuse. My excuse is I don't know where to start, and I've just been kind of in this like creative lull for about 6 months. So yeah, I need to get back into my creative spark, and that's actually one of the things that they talk about with AI is that like lots of human jobs will get replaced, but what we're going to need is human creativity because the AI isn't uniquely as creative as us. And then the one was talking about how like not being a great speller might actually be like a benefit because then if you're doing something and it's not completely perfect, people will know that it wasn't AI. Especially if you're doing some writing or something, that if there's like a spelling mistake or a grammatical error, then they're like, oh, a human actually wrote this. It wasn't just AI. And I think that's we're going to see a lot more value in genuine human
Creativity, yeah.
creativity and I think that's something that we need to really enforce in schools because just remembering knowledge is not important. And I just had my students actually do this final project on living systems. And so we learned about the different living systems, like certain ones that they had to learn based on our curriculum, which was the respiratory system, the digestive system, the circulatory system. Um, I can't remember the other ones. Anyways, they had to pick, once we learned a little bit about each one, they had to pick one to do like a more detailed research project on and then create a video where they shared the information on the topic that they picked. And so I just watched one of the students' final projects yesterday after work, and I was absolutely blown away because I was like, here's my students, like it's the end of the school year. I made them work with people that they don't always work with. I like purposely picked kids and put them in groups because I was like, these kids never talk to each other. I'm gonna put those kids together. And these kids never talk to each other. I'm gonna put those kids together. And I'm expecting them to use Canva to create a video and be creative. And we've used Canva a few times. And so this is like building up piece by piece of like technology, different things that I've been doing with them throughout the year. And I was like, oh, these are going to be terrible. Like the kids are like so checked out. And then the video I watched yesterday was absolutely amazing. And it was like almost 4 minutes long. And they talked about the circulatory system and how it works. And oh no, sorry, the digestive system. I watched one on the circulatory system too, and it was really good, but it wasn't as creative as the digestive system one. And they had this like little piece of pizza like going through the stomach, and like talking about how it goes through the stomach. And it was just so cool and so creative. And when you give kids a chance to just like go be creative. They don't just regurgitate facts. They like make something funny and creative. And I was just it just made my like heart happy because I was like everything that we've done this year, like this project showcases everything that I wanted to teach you. And it's not about regurgitating facts, it's about being creative and having fun and being able to collaborate and to think critically. And I think that's something that we should really be pushing in education. And so that was like a high for me at the end of the school year because I'm like, I'm tired, the kids are tired, these projects are not going to be good. I really don't even want to watch the videos because I think like I'm watching them and they don't seem very focused. But oh, it was so good. I was like, I underestimated what they've been doing for sure. So yeah, I thought they were just fooling around and they weren't. They actually got all the facts. It just looks like they're fooling around.
Yeah, children are very, very creative,
Mhm.
and yeah, never
Yeah.
underestimate them. They're really, really, really creative. So
Well,
it's
even they're gonna have to show me because I was like, I have no idea how they were able to animate the pizza going through the diagram of the stomach on Canva. And like each slide, it's like this pizza spinning, and it's like first it starts in the esophagus, and it's like this spinning pizza that's going through this like diagram. And then they talk about the small intestine and the pizza spinning in the intestine because they're like, let's talk about the journey of the digestive system. Your yummy pizza. And they like, oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I don't know how they did it. And I'm gonna have to ask them how they made it and look at their slides individually. But Canva's such a cool place to allow kids to be like infinitely creative.
amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think, yeah, you have to, I think as long as you recognize your strength and your weaknesses, you're able to actually just create whatever. And if there are things that you're naturally good at, and which is AI cannot beat that. Um, the skills and the qualities that people often appreciate in you. Um, and just go for what you want to do. And I think that you can leave a legacy behind. I think is most what holds people back is the fear of the unknown, whether people are they going to accept the work or things like that. But you just have to go for it because we are not for everyone. There are people that will recognize it, your impact, you're empowering them. There are people that are appreciating gossip talk shows. There are people that don't. Um, so I know that when we show up every day, we touch people's lives. I get people on LinkedIn as well. And LinkedIn is where all the businesses are, people, and they're like, Nomsa, don't know how you guys do it every day consistently, but we upload you. So yeah, they do send me messages private and say, we don't know how you do it with your
that's
team, but you show up every day. We like you get notification. There are some people that really will always appreciate what we do. So you just have to show up and
Yeah, I
just do
think
your thing.
consistency is really key when you look about at your legacy, right? It's like that idea of even like getting healthy. Like if you go to the gym once and you work out all day, it's not going to change your body. But if you consistently go for an hour each day for or even like 3 times a week for years or consistently, then you're going to see changes and you're going to see like your legacy and just how you show up in the world consistently change, right? If you have like one binge eating day, it's not going to affect your like life, right? Or your health. But if you eat crappy food every single day, eventually it's going to catch up to you in like cholesterol problems or heart problems or diabetes, right? But if you just had like a one binge day or a binge week when you're on holidays, it's not going to affect you in the same way as if you're consistently doing that, right?
Yeah, you're right. You just have to be consistent.
Mhm.
And also choosing, like you saying, you have three options that you want to do. I think pinpointing who matters most when you're making that, creating your legacy is important. And also, who do you want to impact the most? Is it your family members? Is it your community, your industry? or is it the next generation? I think narrowing down, it gives focus on your effort on what you can do, and mostly doing something that you love in the process. I think it is really, really important. My children, they do dancing, they do drama, they do all these things. I know my oldest, she watches, she goes to my Facebook page. So I do deliberately putting my dance videos on Facebook because I know that I don't want to ever complain to say, oh, I feel like I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm like, if I can do it, that means you can even do it better. You're young, you can even do it better than me. So you have no right to complain. So it's like just allowing you to become who you are meant to become,
Yeah.
not talking yourself out of it. So people like some people wonder why is Nomsa dancing on social media? I'm just doing it having fun and just winding people up as well, because there are people that tell you that I want to do this, but they have these stories that they create. Actually, I have to do this properly. But you don't.
Mhm.
You completely don't. You don't have to wait until it becomes a professional. You don't have to wait until you do that. You do that. You just get on with it. There's this word that says, get on with it, even if it's not perfect. And I deliberately not editing my videos as well. Because
Yeah.
if I edit them, they will start making things up and saying, Nomsa, you have the money, we don't have this. So I take them in my small kitchen using my mobile phone. Some of them are not focused, and I'm posting them deliberately. But there will be times where I'm just going to go and shoot them professional. But at this moment, I'm just doing it deliberately, wanting to actually somebody to change. There's someone that actually called me from my friend who is in Canada. She's been going through tough times, and every time she calls me, I never give up on her. But what I did not do is to actually make her feel like, for me feeling sorry for her. So I've always broadcast, like when we finish here, I go and create like a small videos or create my dance videos. And she called me the other day. She was like, Nomsa, I thought I should tell you. For years and years, I've been holding things. I've been this, my life has been like this, but now I'm just happy. I was like, welcome, join the club. I was like, welcome to the club of happiness. Because people seem to think you have to have this, you have to have that. When you want to do something, you have to do that. You don't. You just have to use your talent. Like Amanda, you're a teacher. When you talk about the children, you're very passionate about them.
Mhm.
And there should be a legacy that you should actually leave, that blueprint for children to continue saying, that's my tutor. That was my teacher who taught me this. Yeah, so writing books, I think you're on the right path, and doing podcasts as another right path where your student can come and find you. And they will be writing to you and say, oh, do you remember me? And you'll be like, oh, no.
Well, it's interesting because even I had a student the other day just like Google me while he was on the computer and he's like, look, you're all over the internet. And I was like, yeah, I know. He's like, what's this picture from? And I was like, well, I was on a podcast or I did this. And he's like, what podcast? I'm like, I don't know. I've like been on so many. I don't even know which like one you're talking about or which picture I used for what.
Yeah.
And you talk about when did you do this? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have time to talk about this right now. But it was really cute. So I definitely think sometimes we need to really like think about like how are we showing up? And I think for teachers too, we need to do things outside of the classroom, because then that models to children that we're like actually showing up in the world. So if you like, when I think about like kids writing and I want them to write, I have to show them that I write too, right? When I like teach them math, I have to show them that math shows up in real life, and that you're going to use it in these areas of your life, and it's going to be important. Because if I'm not modeling how you can use this, it's like they're checked out. They're totally checked out. They don't want to do it. They're ready. They'd rather just play their video games or go play hockey, or go, I live in Canada, clearly, go play hockey. But if they look up to you and they want to, they're more willing to engage when they see you actually showing up in that area too. So when I expect them to be writing, I show them that like I write too, and sometimes it's difficult. And sometimes like when you look at a book, you don't think like, oh, I can't get there. Well, you might think that I can't get there, but then I'll show them like lots of the time my ideas are scribbled on in a notebook. And then I take that notebook and then I turn it into a book. Or and then it's like first it's then put onto like the computer, and then I format it in Canva, and then I do this. And one time I had a student be like, I don't need to learn math, I'm just going to write books like you do. And I was like, but there's so much math in writing a book. Like I have to determine size. Once I know the size, then I have to format it properly using like different sizes, because if I'm doing it 8.5, or I think, I can't remember the most common size, but for my picture books, it's like 8.5 by 8.5 inches is the like most common for the picture books. And so if I'm doing that, then the formatting is actually slightly different, because you need to look at bleed and how many pages and the spine and all of these things, and it's all math. And then when I'm doing like marketing, I have to look at like my ad spend versus my profits versus, and it's like they're like, oh, I see where I need math in real life, right? And so I think that's something that's really important when we are looking at our legacy, is like what is it that we're modeling? How are we showing up, right? And so when we look at legacy too, like within our own family, I was like, I want to model something completely different than what I was modeled. And how am I going to do that? How am I going to show up? And I think one of my choices in that modeling is like to not drink. And it's not because I don't think I'll ever drink in my life again. I haven't drank in like 12 years now. But um it wasn't, when I made that decision, I was just like, I don't want to model that for my daughter. I don't want to model drinking every weekend for my daughter. And so, or even like having a glass of wine every night. I don't want to model that. I want to model something different. And so, how do I show up differently? And that was one of the choices I made. And will I ever have a glass of wine again? Maybe. I was never an alcoholic, so it's not a like an issue of being like I can't have it or I'll end up an alcoholic. It's just, it's a conscious choice I make because I want to model something different for my own kid. And so I think when we're looking at our legacy, like sometimes it's just simple things that you do each and every day. I want to model being healthy and active, so I go to the gym every single day, or pretty much every day, or I go to yoga, or I go for a walk or something. And so when we think about like your modeling, like you're dancing and like not showing up perfectly every time, right? And I think that's something that's really important to model too, is like it doesn't have to be perfect. It just sometimes it just needs to be done. Like just get it out there to the world, and like perfection is an illusion. Mm, you're muted, Nomza. Like,
Am I? Yeah, I think everything that we do, happiness is found within us. And it is then up to us to actually embrace it and share it with people. We feel that sometimes, like I'm dancing, like I don't think about it, and I post my videos, and people actually watching it, and I'm thinking, these people are they being serious here? But it gives them happiness. Sometimes you may find someone is depressed and then they say it just brings laugh. They're like, what is Nobza doing? Like, I didn't post my videos for 1 week, and one of my friend, one of the coaches, we always have a meeting. She goes, Nomsa, I miss you. I didn't get notification. I was like, I'm here with you in the video. She goes, no, 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 on Facebook. I did not get notifications for your dance videos. Like, where are you? It's like, I'm here in person with you. And she was like, sometimes they bring laugh with, like, when I'm sad, when I get notification, I'll be like, what is Dobson doing now? So I just laugh. So it's actually nice to see people like not taking life very, very serious. There are times where you can take life serious and do your things and stuff, but I think it's just enjoying being on earth and creating that legacy. And I think that is really, really, really important when someone like your teaching is the legacy that people will remember you. And when they come, the children, it's like having to go to a teacher and communicate with them, and they give you the direction. Most teachers are miserable. And yeah, there's what my neighbor, she was telling me that her actually a daughter's teacher told her that you will never be what you want to be. You're not good. Apparently told her that she's not good in reading or whatsoever. And she ended up affecting her. So I was like, no, she did not say those words. She was like, yes, she did. I was like, what kind of a teacher is that? Because your job is to like look at kids and say and just bring up the strategy, different strategy of an approach for them to approach things, because things people are different. Even my children, sometimes when I tell them to do things, they don't listen to me, or they listen to their dad. And I'm like, seriously? Or sometimes they won't listen to their dad, they'll listen to me. So people, children is like they just need a different approach. Like even us adult, like Amanda, you were saying, if someone says go and do this now and bring it now in a meeting, you'll be like, I need time.
Yeah.
I need time to be able to do that. Even myself, I need to think. Me, if someone is talking, if someone wants me to give them ideas, when they're talking is when I get ideas. But I don't want them to talk to me while they're busy talking to other people. Is when I look at them and I'm thinking, I get into their mind. Then that's when I get the ideas. But when they're talking to me, sometimes it's hard to actually get those ideas. So we all designed different. We all approach things different. So, and I think mostly is not caring about what people think is what helps people create proper legacies. When you don't care, it's like when I'm doing my dance videos, I know everyone has things to say about me, but I don't care.
Yeah.
The only thing that I care about is the happiness, that my feelings, how I feel, and how others, when they see those hilarious videos, they're like, my goodness. I think to me, when I'm bringing a smile to somebody, that's all it matters in life. And that is a legacy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like how it's just like just dance like nobody's watching, right? That's
Yeah. Just do
like
things.
the
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like the podcast, when you say you're not a video, like your friend missing you on TikTok.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're doing it properly, but then in your head, you're like, I'm not a video person. But
Yeah,
actually, you are a video person because you're at Nkosi talk shows every week, Amanda.
I know.
So somehow, I think you need to bring out the childlike in your heart and
Mhm.
not really care and just, like when you you are an artist anyway, because if you are be able to be a writer is an artist. You are a writer, you're an artist. You're
Yeah.
creative. And you just need to bring out that best in you that does not care about what people think,
Yeah.
that cares about adding value to people. Because
Mhm.
that's what matters when you truly, truly cares about, I'm going to create this video. Somebody might want to use it or might come across with it. If they are going through this is how it's going to help them, and just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. When we're looking at our legacy, like don't just hide behind things for
Yeah. Don't just hide.
do it later.
Get
Like,
on with it. Does
yeah,
not have to be perfect.
it's true.
Yeah. It's the guy that actually gave me an award. He said to me, he said, Nomsa, I like your social media. And I said, why do you like my social media? He said, when you go to professional when you go to these companies where they spend lots of money creating professional videos,
Mhm.
it's not their work. So it doesn't actually, you can see they spend so much money to get it out there, to make it, to create it. But when someone actually creates something from the heart, it's
Mhm.
different. It was
Yeah.
like when I go to your social media, it's created from the heart. People speak from the heart.
Mhm.
And that, to me, that is something that money can't buy.
Yeah, it's true. Right?
Yeah.
Or that AI can't create. Yeah, no, I really like that because when you're creating from the heart, it doesn't have to be perfect. The heart's messy sometimes, right? Where our lives are messy, and that's sometimes how we have to show up, and it's not perfect. And when you go on the road of life, it's going to have some zigs and some zags and some backwards and forwards and everywhere and it's the journey that matters, not the destination, which I think sometimes we often forget that it's like, oh, I want to just get to this spot. Like when I do this, I'll be happy. And that's not really true. It's learning
Now,
to be in this.
happiness is that moment. It's in the moment. I'll be
Mhm.
happy when I get married.
Yeah.
I'll be happy when I become a millionaire.
Mhm.
I'll be happy when I have kids, when I have that. Crap. Happiness is there.
And every stage of life has its really great benefits and its struggles, right? Like being single has its really great benefits, but then it has its struggles too. Like being married has its benefits, but it has its
Has its
struggles,
struggles too. Yeah.
right? Pick your hard because they're all, and there's joy in all of them, in all of the choices. There's joy in being single, there's joy in being married, there's joy in having children, there's struggles in having children, right? And
Yeah.
it's something that we don't often think about when we think like, oh, I want to get to this. And then it's like when you get there, you're like, oh, but these other things are still showing up. Well, yeah, of course, because that's part of the journey, right? And having other things show up in struggles is part of learning and growing, and it's just part of life in general.
Yeah. And, like, we have to create our own happiness. We have to create our own legacy.
Mm.
And I listened to Kamau yesterday. Carol Ann was telling us about her struggle, the trains being cancelled, and Kamal went, did you enjoy that moment when the train? Because what matters is you having to relax and enjoy, even though there are struggles in that moment. But did you enjoy the process? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, even myself, sometimes when trains get cancelled, I just use it for other things just to relax. Because I know if I get home early, 1 hour early, my children will be wanting one piece of me, that one will be wanting piece of me. So I might as well just enjoy the moment. So which is why I create my own happiness, and my happiness is a legacy. And to me, if I can't be happy while I'm on earth, where do you want me to be happy? When my father-in-law was ill, I knew he was going. And I decided, Amanda, I used to go to the hospital like weekends when I find him sleeping. I was just sleep next to him for like half an hour or 1 hour and just be there because I knew that he will be gone within any time. And some people thought I was being crazy, but I wasn't. And that moment, that few months when he left, I felt in my heart that actually you gone, dude. But I got the opportunity to get closer to you. Honestly, it was those moments where I was like, I got the moment of really cry because sometimes I'll go to the hospital, I will just be sitting there and I'll be crying. But when he went, and I was like, oh, is that it? That's the end now. And then I was like, God, I'm so grateful for that happiness the process that I had. To me, it was the the things that he left behind. It
Mhm.
was like looking at my children that he was like, Nomsa was never good with my kids, but I'm gonna babysit my grandchildren all the time. So he was showing up like every day for his grandchildren. And his son, he was like, why does he come here every day? I was like, you're bothered about him coming here every day? We are not, because we are allowing him to spoil us. So let him be. So we were like enjoying the moment. I think for me is the moment where love, true love, when someone gives you that true love and they leave it behind. It's like you guys. You are here at Ngozi Talk Show. I always tell people, even yesterday I was talking about you guys. And I was telling Pastor Henry's group that these guys, they've been with me through thick and thin. Sometimes I wonder myself that how did God brought them to me? And I'm like, but that's okay. So it's something that I will never ever forget. Even if you guys don't see what you do, but it is something that one day God will just appear and give you guys a miracle, and you will not understand why do I deserve this, and know that it is Nomsa who appreciate you guys the most. Is the legacy of Ngozi talk shows that you guys have created, but you don't realize it anywhere, but Nomsa realize it. And I appreciate you guys so much. And to me, that is the legacy that I would leave to share the story. Even when I arrive in heaven one day, I'll be saying, God, don't forget Amanda, Grant, Carol, Ann, and Claudia to bless them. And Kamau, I'll be like, don't forget, even in my heart, wherever I go. Because people don't understand the true love and loyalty. You guys have been loyal to me. And I'm hoping that one day Gary will just appear and make us millionaires. And you guys will be like, we'll be talking about the stories and how the struggles of Ngozi talk shows. That's my hope that one day we'll be millionaires and we'll be traveling around the world and we'll be talking about the stories and the struggles,
Mhm.
sharing with the world, which we are doing it now anyway.
Yeah, doing just
Oh,
because
Amanda, it's 7 minutes past.
yeah, I need to get going, but I
Yeah.
really enjoyed our conversation
Any
today and
words of encouragement? I'm going to.
just enjoy the journey. And I think that whatever your legacy may be, it even if it's just that you were a loving parent, then that's all it needs to be, and that's totally okay. It doesn't have to be span thousands of years like Cleopatra, my cat, that I just named. It can just be that you are an amazing parent and loving loving mother or father or sister or brother or like friend, right? And that it's really your legacy is built on how you show up each and every day as well. So that's how I'll
Yep.
leave it. But I do really
Yeah.
need
For me, is give without expectation, expecting return. Generosity is a legacy builder. Whether it's time or attention, knowledge or resources, give freely with love. That's what I leave you guys with. And please do subscribe to our channel. We have two groups, Nkosi Talk Shows and Unique Billionaire Mindset. And please do follow Amanda, guys, at Nkosi Talk Shows and message her. I know I have Pastor Henry's followers that you guys are watching on my personal page. Please do go and look for Amanda as well on Amanda. You are Amanda Murray or Cattell on your profile.
Cottrell, but my middle name's Marie, so
Yeah,
yeah.
so they'll find you. If they type Amanda, you are on my friend list, so they'll find you. And please do guys follow her. And also, if you want any consultation or coaching with Amanda or I, please do get in touch on the website www.hseia.coach. And it's on my profile. Please, God bless everyone. Live with grace.